Welcome. Now we're going to talk about the Therapeutic Alliance. The most foundational, important underlying belief of trauma-informed care is that because harm happened in relationships, it is through relationships that people heal and grow. Your relationship is your most important tool. Strengthening attachment, the power of healing relationship. Remember, in the introduction to trauma, we went over the trauma framework, and it's through our relationship with the client that the client can heal from the trauma frame, from the development disruptions that happen due to adverse childhood events. And particularly, those healings happen in the area of attachment and also in body and brain. When the person can heal and grow in those areas and develop the skills they need, then when difficult things and stressors happen in the present, they will have more resources and will need to do less extreme acts to relieve their feelings. So what is this healing relationship? It's the positive connection between you and the person you're working with, or the people in case of a group or family. It's your major healing tool, and your interaction with a person can be healing, even if it's a one-time contact or a long-term contact, frequent or infrequent, short or long. And this is one of the most highly researched findings in our field, that healing correlates with the client's rating of their relationship with their therapist. It correlates more with that than it does with the experience of the therapist, what evidence-based practice they're using, whether the sex of the two is the same or different, whether the race of the two is the same or different, or whether the age of the two, how it compares. All those things matter, but they don't matter even close to as much as the client's sense of the relationship. So what is so important about this relationship? Well, it contradicts the experience that the person who survived traumas has had so far. So far, the person believes that people hurt you, people cannot be trusted, they leave, they don't care. If you, through your interaction with them, give them a different experience with a human being, you give them the experience of a human being who does care, is compassionate, is trustworthy, then you change the possibilities that are open to them. Furthermore, it's within relationships that brains are built. So while we're making this relationship, we are also re-sculpting the brain, adding more pathways, adding more connections between neurons so the brain can work more efficiently. It decreases the person's sense of isolation. Being alone, completely alone without connections, is terrifying for humans. This evolved because humans are more likely to stay alive if they have some friends. In former days, the worst punishment that society could give an individual was exile, in which the members of the society would not interact with that person. We don't want to be exiled. We want to be connected, seen, part of a whole, part of connections with others in which we are valued. And that's what the relationship creates. People learn through the relationship that the present is different from the past. It's your most important source of influence. If you work in some setting in which you're managing behavior, you know that if a bunch of, say they're youth, a bunch of youth start to go off and get agitated all at the same time, you cannot make them do anything. But if you have a relationship with them, you have a tremendous influence on what they do. Another thing about the relationship with us is that our clients learn about rupture and repair. There's inevitably breaks in our relationships, times where we're not perfect, times where we can't meet someone's needs, but those can be repaired. Our clients have experienced lots and lots of rupture and not much repair. They've come to believe that when something goes wrong in a relationship, you might as well give up. They could have a different experience with us and learn that after rupture, there can be repair. So We, in Risk and Connection, use the phrase rich to stand for those components of a relationship that make it a healing relationship, that make it a good relationship for healing of trauma. And this is true whether it's a 5-minute interaction or 5 years. And RICH stands for respect, information, connection, and hope. These are the components that have to be part of a relationship for it to be healing. So here's a video. I think I'll just have to leave you to see that video on your own. It's a perfect demonstration of RICH. Of course, when we talk about relationships, the topic comes up of frame and boundaries. What are frame and boundaries? They're everything that describes the conditions of the relationship. What are the roles of the two people or more people? What are the roles, the rules? How often will they see each other? How long? What will they be to each other? What won't they be to each other? What is there money involved? Is there a length of time that the relationship will last? Anything that defines this particular relationship. Who am I to you and who are you to me? Why does that matter so much? Well, it actually matters with everyone, but the particular reason it matters to trauma survivors is that their boundaries have been violated. The essence of interpersonal abuse is that boundaries are violated and that people who have power over or take advantage of their power over people who have less power. So therefore, expect to have their boundaries violated, especially by authority figures. We have to give them a counterexample. So another part of boundaries that makes it more complicated is there's often no agreement between people. The boundary questions that come up usually arise from our best heart, from the part of us that wants to do more, to help, to be there for somebody. And our clients, as I said, are used to boundary violations. They expect them, and they may even solicit them in order to test you to find out. For example, a girl who has been sexually molested and who has gotten privileges through sexual favors may attempt to solicit sexual favors from a therapist or a staff member. She's trying to find out, is this one more person who's interested in me mainly for sex, or is this a different sort of person? In an agency, we can't possibly have a boundary policy that covers everything that's going to come up. There's many things that people don't even agree on. But we need to look at our agency boundary policies and follow them. There is one thing that everyone agrees on: don't have sex with the clients, don't have sex with their relatives. But things come up like the client's calling you mom, or you want to give the client some shoes that your son didn't like, or the client has no food and you could give them $20, or you helped a kid make it through high school and he's graduating and his family wants you to come to the graduation party they're giving since they think that you are a major part of this achievement. Or you're an in-home worker and the family invites you to stay for dinner. Or you know a kid is going through a particularly difficult time and you want to take them out to lunch. Or a particular child catches your heart and you wonder if you could become their foster mother. And on and on and on. Should you bring the kid to your house? What if the kid friends you on Facebook? This technology provides all sorts of new possibilities for boundary violations. So what do you do? What's to do? The main thing to do is to talk about it. Talk about it with someone. Get away from the client and don't tell the client what you're thinking about doing. Get away from the client and then talk to someone about it, such as your supervisor, or your team. Because away from the client's force field, you can think about what is good for the client and what is good for the group if there is a group situation. Other things that come up are things about personal disclosure. What about yourself do you tell the client? Also, physical touch. Do you give clients hugs? All these things are best discussed openly in a team, and never kept secret. Don't have a secret between you and a client. If something is a secret, that's a warning sign. Talk about it and then reach a decision for the good of all. Doing this, keeping the frame tight, is a way that you show the client respect and that you create safety. The client may push against the boundaries, but they feel safer when there's clear boundaries.